Welcome to level 7, proportional representation. 18 seats need to be filled. Find the number of seats allocated to each candidate using proportional representation. So we can see that Samantha got 12 votes, Adrian got 295 votes, Brianna got 38 votes, Daisy got 37, and Lucy got 292 votes. Total, let's find out the number of votes. So I'm going to write equals sum. I'm going to start with the 12 and drag it all the way down, like that. There are a total of 674 votes. Okay, let's find out how many seats each person gets. Samantha has 12 674ths of the 18 seats. That's the fraction. It's equal to 12 out of the 647. I want to lock onto the 647. So when I fill this down, I want them to always be looking at, this is B7. So I want it to lock onto the B7. So I'm going to put a little dollar sign between the B and the 7. Like, look what happens if I don't. If I fill that down, I'm getting nothing. It means there's an error. If I double click on this, it's looking at B3 divided by B8. Notice there is no B8. That's why it's just giving us a blank. Go back up to here. I'm going to put a dollar sign between the B and the 7. That will horizontally lock it onto this B7. And when I fill that down, look what happens. We get actual numbers. Because notice here, it's not looking at B8, it's looking at B7, and this one is looking at B7, and that one's looking at B7, and this one's looking at B7. So far, it's just the percentage of votes, because it's just B2, like the 12 out of the 674, so it's giving that as a decimal. Samantha's getting 12 674ths of the 18 votes. So of times the 18. So I'm going to write times 18 like that. And then I'm going to fill that down. Here's the sum. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it over here. And what it's doing is it's summing up all of these values, and they all add up to 18. So they all add up to the 18 votes. How many whole seats? Because this is 0.32 and this is 7.87. So I'm going to reduce this to whole numbers. For that, I'm using a function called floor. So equals floor of this number. And what it does is it just chops off the decimals. So it gives you the greatest integer. The 7.7 just becomes 7. The 0.98 just becomes 0. It's not rounding it, it's just chopping off the decimal. This is how many whole seats each candidate has won. And then we're going to look at the decimals. How many seats? I can just fill this right. Command R to fill right. So far I've used up 15 seats. So that means there are 3 seats extra. Let's figure out what the decimals are, or the floating point version. Take away the whole number, like that, and that'll just give us the decimals. Instead of having 7.7, we just have the 0.798. It just gives us the decimal part. Then we're going to allocate the extra votes to the people that have the highest decimals. This one has the highest decimals, 0.98. So this person gets a seat. And then we go to the next highest decimal, which is this one, gets an extra seat. And then the next one, like that. And then we're out, because we only had 3. This person gets 0, and this person gets 0. The final number of seats is equal to the whole number of seats plus the extra seats, like that. If we fill that down, I'm just going to copy this function over here, and it adds up all the seats, and once again, notice it's 18 seats. So we've given out all of the seats. Lucy gets 8 seats, and Adrian gets 8 seats. Brianna and Daisy get 1 seat, and Samantha gets 0 seats. Then you press enter to see if you're right. Let's just do one more quick one. I want to figure out the total number of votes. So it's equal to the sum of all of these values, like that. Then I want to figure out what fraction did Emma get. She got 2,770 out of 8,261 of the 34. The fraction is that out of the total, but we need to horizontally lock it. I put a dollar sign between the B and the 7 of the 34 seats. And then I fill that down. I'm just going to fill this right, Command R. To fill down is Command D. To fill right is Command R. Does that add up to 34 votes? It does. This is our 34 votes. Then we want to see what the whole number is. So we're going to use the floor function. So equals floor. Just chops off the decimal. So the 11.4 becomes 11. The 8.16 becomes 8. So it's not rounding it, it's just chopping off the decimals. If we're rounding the 7.6, it would round up to 8, but it's just chopping off the decimals. It's 7 is the whole number. The decimal number is the floating point number. Take away the whole number and then fill that down. So that means we have 2 extra seats. So all of these little fractions add up to 2. We had 34 seats to begin with. We've only given out 32. That means we have 2 to still give out. They go to the people with the highest decimals. So that's going to be 0.7 and 0.6. So these 2 people get 1 extra seat, and everybody else gets 0. Then we can find the final number of seats is equal to the whole number of seats added to the extra seats. And then we just fill that down. Command D, and there we are. Let's copy this formula over here, and we see that it adds up to 34 seats in total. and then you press enter to see if you're correct. That's pretty much it for proportional representation. Have a good day.